Hello, Mrs. Fulmore. My name is Scarlett and I'm the social worker here at the nursing facility. I specialize in helping individuals who are considering moving into the nursing home. Did I pronounce your name correctly?
Yes, you did.
How would you like to be addressed?
Miss Fulmore will be fine.
Okay, Mrs. Fulmore, would you follow me into my office?
Of course.
Okay, you may sit where you like.
Thank you.
Mrs. Fulmore, I noticed that you requested an appointment with us concerning a decision you want to make whether or not to stay at our nursing facility. Am I correct?
Yes.
During our meeting today, I'd like to explore in detail as to why you're considering moving into the nursing home or any of the concerns you may have. So as we both gain an understanding of your concerns, together we can consider what to do next. You can best help in this process by sharing your thoughts, your feelings, as fully as possible. If you ever feel confused about anything we talk about, please feel free to ask me any questions. You know, it's important that we work together to better guide you in the decisions you will make. Do you have any questions so far?
No, not yet.
So before we begin, I have to inform you that throughout our meeting by law, if I discover that you or a child is at harm, I have to disclose that information. However, your thoughts, your feelings, and anything you say in the meeting remains confidential. Also, our agency operates in a sliding fee basis. This means that the cost of each session varies according to the client's ability to pay. So if you ever feel like you need to cancel or reschedule a meeting, we must be notified a day before the appointment. Do you have any questions on what we've discussed so far?
No, I just have a lot of questions about the nursing home.
Okay, Mrs. Fulmore. Why have you considered moving into the nursing home?
Well, I feel like I am too much for my family right now.
You feel like you're a burden to your family?
Yes, my children have children of their own. They work, they have to pick up the kids from school. When they get home, they have to cook and care for their children.
You feel like they don't really have a lot of time to take care of you?
Yes.
How many children do you have?
Well, I have two, but but I live with my son. My daughter does not live in the United States.
Who else do you live with?
My daughter-in-law and two of my grandchildren. Throughout the day, they have to work and they leave my food prepared, but there are times where I need help with other things and no one else is there to help me.
So there are things you can't do on your own right now.
Exactly.
Who leaves your food prepared at home?
Well, my son's wife, but she probably feels forced to make my food. We have had problems in the past.
When you say you've had problems with your daughter-in-law, can you be more specific with the problems you've both experienced?
Yes, well, my daughter-in-law gets upset when I become too involved with how she's raising her children or anything I suggest at home. My son does not have a problem with it, but they begin to argue because of the suggestions I make. So recently I've been holding my tongue when I have something to say about my grandchildren or the household.
You're afraid to come in between your son and his wife.
Yes, I love him too much to see him hurt. I used to have many problems with my husband, and I do not want my son to fall into the same footsteps.
Tell me more.
Well, I want my son to be happy, but there's only so much I can do. So I try to support them by raising their kids. But it seems like it's starting trouble. But sometimes I say things without thinking.
As you see it, your opinions seem to cause problems between your daughter-in-law, your son, and yourself.
Yes.
And are these one of the reasons why you've considered moving into the nursing home?
Yes. By me moving here, I wouldn't be the cause to any of the problems anymore.
So you think that by moving into the nursing home, it will be better for your family?
Yes.
Is your family aware of how you feel?
No, I do not want to add any more stress to them. That is why I came here to talk to you on my own.
How do you think your family would feel when they realize you'll be living in the nursing home and not with them?
Well, I guess I do not know. Maybe my daughter-in-law will be happy not to having to cook for me anymore. I do not know how my grandchildren will feel, but I think my son will probably be a little upset.
go on.
My son is the one who asked me to move in with him in the first place. I was living on my own before and I was able to do things on my own. My daughter and my son became very concerned about my husband about me when my husband passed.
Is it possible that your children would be concerned having you live in the nursing facility?
They probably would.
Are you yourself also concerned living in a nursing home?
Yes, I heard stories about people living in a nursing home, that they were neglected, they had money stolen from them, but I can't live home anymore.
Have you considered any other options?
Yes, I considered moving to an apartment and hiring a home nurse for my convenience, but having someone live with me because I'm paying them, it feels uncomfortable. It's not like they really care about me. It would be great if I could stay at home with my son and my grandchildren, but I cannot anymore.
Mrs. Fulmer, you've mentioned a couple of times that you cannot live at home anymore. I can see how much this is stressing you out.
Yes, it is.
I've also noticed that you wish to stay at home with your son.
I really do, but I cannot.
Mrs. Fulmer, do you think your son would like to hear how you've been feeling?
I know he would, but I think it's best I do not right now.
Mrs. Fulmer, you were very brave coming in to talk to me today. I see how concerned you are with your son's marriage and his family. I can also see that you believe to be the problem at home and you think that it's best that you move out. Am I correct?
Yes, you are.
Mrs. Fulmer, how about for our next meeting, we talk about your options one at a time. You mentioned a couple of times that you would like to stay living at home with your son. You've also considered moving into a nursing home, and you've mentioned, moving into an apartment with a hired nurse. Is this correct?
Yes.
Now that, I've gained understanding of your concerns, next meeting we can talk about the pros and cons of each option. How does that sound to you?
That would be helpful.
Okay, great.